So Emil Zatopek had never intended to be a runner. He was actually forced into it by the manager of the shoe company that he was working at when he was younger. And it turned out that he was pretty naturally gifted. So he started training himself in something called hypoventilation training. And what this is it's the opposite of hyperventilation, where it is you're holding your breath as long as you can and running around a track. Now, I would not suggest people do this. You could pass out and it could be problematic. But Zatopek developed this training method because he found it gave him so much more energy, and it made his tolerance for carbon dioxide go very high, which allowed him to have better circulation, and it also allowed him, according to his notes, to win races. And he was the greatest runner of all time, according to some magazines, and won several Olympic gold medals, even in events he had never trained for. James Councilman used a very similar method as Emil Zatopek, but his athletes were in the water. They weren't running. And he would have them hold their breath and do about 9 strokes, which is about twice as long as swimmers normally would do their strokes per breath. And the swimmers hated this. This was very miserable to do, but they also ended up winning more medals than any other swim team at the 1976 Montreal Olympics. Since Councilman and Zatopek have come around, several other athletes have discovered this powerful tool of our breathing. And right now, breathing is the hottest thing to hit athletic performance. I know this because I'm friends with several elite trainers. And every single one of the people that is coming in to be trained right now, be it an Olympian or an ultra marathoner or just hobbyists, they're focusing on their breath. And Sanya Richards-Ross, who was considered the top female sprinter for 10 years, if you look at pictures of her breathing while she is competing, her mouth is closed, she's breathing through her nose. She conditioned herself to nasal breathing so that she could run more efficiently. She was able to take fewer breaths, but to get more oxygen, which is one of the reasons why she was so effective at her sport. So you don't need to be an elite athlete or an Olympian to adopt these simple breathing techniques. Anyone can use them. Breathing is free. It's available to everyone all the time. And as the science and these athletes have clearly shown, it can make a big difference to your performance and your recovery. I hate jogging. I never do it. Whenever I'm able to avoid it, I avoid it. I prefer water sports, surfing, swimming, other activities. I don't like jogging. However, jogging is a very good activity to condition the body, and it's a very good activity to practice your breathing to because it's consistent. You can count footsteps and you can alter your breathing as you're jogging, and you can feel these different changes occur in your body. As a journalist, I wanted to experiment with different breathing techniques while jogging, and I was able to be coached by Anders Olsson, who is a leading breathing therapist from Sweden, and he was teaching me some of these techniques that Zatopek used to win so many races. I did not win races with this, but I definitely felt a very different feeling jogging, and at one point it was so intense I had to actually stop breathing this way. Otherwise I was worried something crazy might happen. So what I was doing, it's as simple as this, is I was holding my breath on an exhale for about 10 steps and then breathing very calmly. Holding my breath again for about 10 steps, breathing very calmly. Then we were extending these exhales to about 30 steps, which is a very long amount of time, especially when you are jogging. And you could feel your heart rate respond to this. You could feel your blood pressure respond. You could feel these different levels of circulation throughout the body. It was really a fascinating thing. But beyond that, one thing that I think is important for athletes to know is there's a reason why the first 5 minutes of any vigorous athletic performance is miserable. why you're out of breath, why you get dizzy, why you think there's no way I'm going to be able to do this for an hour. It's because your respiration has not been able to catch up with your body's needs for oxygen. So a thing that many athletes have found to be very effective is to do breath work before you start exercising, to condition your respiration and your circulation. I've done this before, doing martial arts or even surfing, and found that that transition to go from sitting around to really working out is so much easier because your demand for oxygen is met by your breathing technique.